We know so many of you are under added stress right now, and with the election tomorrow, that stress could be amplified in the coming days.
And now ahead of Good Morning America, Dr. James with the Human Grace Project explains the power of optimism when you find yourself worrying too much.
Hey there, it's Dr. James with the Human Grace Project. Today I woke up and the first thing I did, I started worrying. And I said, gosh, you know what? You are getting really good at worrying these days. And I look around the world right now and I don't think I'm alone. We are really getting good at worrying. There's a lot to worry about. So I asked myself this simple question. I stepped back and I thought, wow, you know what? Here's an opportunity to examine where worry comes from. It's very contagious these days. I think we have to ask ourselves a deeper question. Is it working for me? If I continue to worry, is it going to take me to where I'd like to go? Or could there be a better path? And that's where I did some research on the power of optimism. Now I know I'm regarded around here as being a fairly optimistic person. In fact, I'm okay with that because the research is really compelling. What we know about optimism, it's anti-inflammatory. In fact, a study at Harvard said that 10,000 people, men and women, for 30 years were tracked. Here's what they found out. The higher their level of daily optimism, the more likely they were still going to be around 30 years later. In fact, they lowered their risk from dying from the 5 major causes of death by 30%, simply by working on their optimism. Now, don't get me wrong, optimism should not be confused with denial. It actually looks at what's going on, which there's plenty to worry about, but it doesn't ruminate on the worry. It actually acknowledges it and says, you know what? Yeah, it's there, but I'm going to go over here and move forward in my life because that's how I gain credence and faith and confidence. That's how I build my optimism. The simple practice these people did, they wrote down something they called the daily done well. I followed through on this. I did this. I made this happen. They literally were checking their character and integrity as they were moving forward, and those are the people who had the highest levels of optimism. All of us right here and right now have a choice to make. And we'll do it again the next moment, and we'll do it again tomorrow. Spirit willing, we'll be here 30 years from now because we decided we were going to look at this world and say, yes, I am going to stand in the truth of what it means to be fully awake and alive. Not be in denial, but be fully awake to the possibility. In fact, I'm going to be a possibilitarian, which may be just another word for optimism. Here in the Human Grace Project, we're all about moving forward and creating a life that we love.